Yeah. It's Full Tilt Dynasty podcast. We are live right now. It's only the two of us today. It's myself, Thomas Tipple, FF. That is the host with the most time in his hands in. That is my mate to my right, Big Billy, FF. Billy, did you know that now, almost 2 years of podcasting, this has never happened? It has never just been you and I on
Wait,
one
really?
broadcast. Yes, this is a Full Tilt Dynasty first. It has been
Wow.
every other combination
Wow.
plus guess, but this is
What
a
do you
first.
know?
Yeah, I was thinking about that all day today. Well, like I said, this is a Full Tilt Dynasty podcast. Today's episode is looking ahead. We are looking ahead to the weekend. We don't do this very often, but we're getting close to, I guess, the middle-ish of the season.
2 more
Coming up
weeks
now.
to mid.
Yeah. So, we thought maybe this would be a good time to just look at some of the matchups ahead. And I know they seem like they're going to be a snooze fest, but
Yeah.
don't look at it that way. It's still football. Be excited. Find the best in the little things, right? And that's what we're gonna kind of try to do today. We've each got a couple of games, and then if we have more time, we're just gonna probably rattle off and go through some of the other games. But I got a couple questions. Why was there no fantasy walkabout this week? The internet, the planets didn't want to align on my side over here to let that happen. Mr. Immunity winner, that's right, Coach Craig Sports. If you haven't been keeping up, I am a part of fantasy football, and your boy here won immunity from elimination of this fantasy football reality competition. I won immunity. Suck it, Coach Craig.
Start
Dearness
Johnson
was my MVP.
Yeah.
The way it works is we have an immunity showdown to the DFS slate on Thursdays, and the elimination showdown is on Mondays. And it's like the bottom 3 through Sunday slates in the league is up for elimination right now. Like, that's kind of how it goes. Proud of you, buddy. Yeah, I'm proud of you too, homie. It is appreciated. I am coming for the title, though. I know some people have wanted me out. My team is all on IR. George Kittle, Clyde, Michael Thomas. Everyone
I got a
is
couple of those teams.
dying. Yeah, Dearness was an MVP. I had it was Javonte that won it for me. The Javonte touchdown. Very few people.
That must have felt
out.
good for you.
Oof, especially as a Javonte guy.
Me a cigarette after that.
Yeah, I was vibing. I made 2 TikToks, which, by the way, you can go check me out on TikTok over there at Thomas Tipple on the Ticks of Talk. You'll find my highlights up there now, where you used to see them on the timeline. They're now going to be heading over there because why not? I need something else to do with my super ridiculously busy life. Billy, speaking of busy, you have been grinding on the master's or the PhD trail of your education here, and you made it through. I mean, you look like you need to take a nap, but you look great.
I look like I can move with the bags under my eyes. I look like I'm ready to load into the RV in the bottom left-hand corner.
We'll pack it up and ready to...
As you can tell, I'm recording this week from heaven with the light source behind me.
Yes.
So yeah,
brighter in Texas.
It's been a mess. Sad I had to miss last week, but glad to be back on.
Cody was a stud, and actually Cody made some picks, so we're going to run down how the picks went. He kind of made them last minute, as me and Jacob tend to do as well. But speaking of packing it up and kicking it off, let's pack it up and kick it off with a little thing. Do we care? So instead of rattling through the news that you have seen on a bunch of outlets all over the place, there's tons of great outlets and articles and podcasts and live chats and Twitter spaces, tons of stuff.
More words.
Yeah, we want to just point out some of the ones that matter to us a little bit. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the game last night, because it was one of the most boring yet also exciting games I've ever been forced to watch.
Bad game.
It was exciting just for Javonte's end of game pass catching role. So that's what excites me about that. So yeah, let's talk about, do we give a shit? Do we care? Dearness Johnson baby is in the notes. I didn't realize that a 4-8 third string running back makes you that excited.
I mean, putting up the yardage that he did is going to be fun. It isn't really going to matter. The one thing that this affects me looking forward is we've been hearing a lot about these kind of older running backs who are exciting the trade market. Marlon Mack has been the biggest talking piece throughout all these. If I were the Browns right now, I'd be trying to just put some feelers out and see what we can get for Dearness Johnson, because you have two of probably the top 10 running backs in the league on your own team. You don't need Dearness Johnson. So
I just don't think the NFL really works that way as much as like we would want it to, right?
Sure, it's not Madden.
If they trade, I know, but if they trade Dearness Johnson, now they don't have Dearness Johnson to run for 146 yards and carry them through that game when Chubb and Hunt are gone. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying.
And what would bother me about a team trading for Dearness Johnson is there's probably 100 free agent running backs that can do what he did last night in Stefanski's system, like coming off of the couch.
Yeah, I'm more saying if I was an NFL GM right now, I'd be a lot more excited about picking up Dearness Johnson than Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack has shown a few good moves.
Marlon Mack.
He's shown a few good moves throughout the season, but I'm just not. I'd rather.
He's looked fine.
Sure, he's had his moments.
Totally fine.
All right, I wasn't prepared to debate Marlon Mack versus Dearness Johnson. Real quick, hang on. Let me get some stats ready.
I know what you're saying within the trade market for running backs and all that jazz. You know what I do want to point out? It's gonna have a different flow today. It's just gonna be different, and that's fine. We're gonna do it our way. When you and Jacob come on here without me, it's usually mock drafts, an hour and a half long shows. So, yeah, exactly. So I just want to talk about this though. Fantasy football managers drive me up the wall with
you're in the wrong field.
And part of that, oh no, I'm in the right one. Trust me. This is why. There always has to be people that are different. The running backs don't matter community loved Dearness Johnson last night. And let me tell you, there's 4 or 5 of you that I caught out there talking about it. And I'm not going to tell you, because if you're hearing this, you'll figure it out. Okay? All of you refuse to trade your running backs because you, quote, can't lose them in fantasy. If running backs don't matter in fantasy, why are you holding on to them with your last breath? Okay? So just know that I see you, I hear you, and I know it's bullshit. So I just want to get that out there. Okay?
I don't know. I think Dearness Johnson is like the flag for zero RB.
I totally agree. But then why are you telling me that, I can't trade Miles Sanders for less than 2 firsts because I need a running back?
Okay.
If that's the case, then running backs actually do matter. You're just shouting out on the Bird app, which is totally fine. Do what you want to do, but just know that when I see this, bullshit.
I thought your implication was that you went out and tried to trade for Dearness Johnson last night.
No, God, no. Actually, Ray GQ was commenting. I said, he's like, wait till after the game. People are going to be trying to trade. I was like, until after. I got 4 offers last night at halftime where people were trying to send me Dearness Johnson for thirds and seconds. So I sent him either one fab.
Pick him up in Scott Fish.
And Scott Fish, he's a godsend, right? Like I'm missing Barkley and Scott Fish right now, and it's been brutal.
I got no.
But yeah. Look, Trey Lance is out, right? That sucks. Looks like it's Jimmy G's job again.
I don't like it a lot.
This is going to be a weird situation in San Francisco. Like if Jimmy G comes in now and plays well, because Lance did not play well, I get it. He's a rookie. It was his first game. It's the Cardinals. Blah, blah, blah. I get it, but he didn't play well, period. So if Jimmy G comes in, especially when he was... It seems like Shanahan was hesitant to put Trey Lance in to begin with, outside of these Baltimore Ravens-esque packages, which it totally that's what it reminds me of, is the Ravens offense, which Lance needs to thank Lamar Jackson for. Jimmy G will come in, hopefully, for San Francisco and play well. Now, if Jimmy G plays well, that's even less of a chance that either Jimmy G is shipped out in the offseason, like we all want him to be, or that Lance will have that stranglehold on the starting job by the end of the year.
Oh, Jimmy G is going to be gone in the offseason. There's no way they spent the 103 on him. But my biggest thing now is, given the fact that Jimmy G is going to have the chance to come back in, I think we have a really legitimate situation where we just don't see Trey Lance for the rest of the year.
Except for those packages.
I think it's completely viable. I mean, me and Jacob here both picked the 49ers as our Super Bowl picks this year. Not looking good, but besides the point. But they're an extremely complete team, and they're completely fine to win with a game manager under center, which is what Jimmy G is very good at. But I don't think they're in a situation right now where they're good to just shake everything up and throw in a completely different quarterback. So I understand that. Oh,
there's one offensive coordinator that has been shown to be able to do that. Do you know what his name is?
Greg Roman.
Greg fucking dipshit Roman is the only offensive coordinator that has completely mid-season changed an entire offense and made it work.
Thomas talking about offensive coordinators. Greg Roman.
Greg Roman.
That Venn diagram is a circle.
Hey, but I'm speaking positively about him. Hell is free. Is it? It got cold. I got to turn my heat up because I think hell just froze over. But it's not. It's not like, oh, well, they can just do different stuff this week in practice and they'll be ready to go. That's not how it actually works, right? It's not just just drop back and throw this route. That's not how the NFL actually works. So putting Trey Lance in the middle of the year was going to be tough no matter what. But now I just don't know if he's going to get the stranglehold on the job this year, barring another. If Jimmy G gets hurt again, right? If he tweaks his ankle or hurts his shoulder and misses more time, then that would really suck because it kills his trade value. Where's Jimmy G going to go? Let's play that game. Where does Jimmy Garoppolo go?
So
who trades for him in his contract?
What's his contract? Flat cut him with a dead cap hit of 27 million, or with a dead cap of 1.4 next year.
1.4 million they can get out.
That is their dead cap with him. He's 27 million against the cap for next year.
Okay. That's this year though. In 2022, his dead cap was 1.4.
Yeah.
So they could just cut him.
Exactly. So
he's gone. He's big gone.
Yeah.
So let's play where does Jimmy G go to hurt our next fantasy studs ceiling?
Well, it's a really easy game because it's the same place where the other 3 off-season free agent quarterbacks can go. And it's teams that are prepared to win now and aren't going to get early enough in the draft. It's Denver, Vegas, and it's Pittsburgh.
Oh, what do you mean Vegas? Carr's not leaving Vegas.
I mean,
look at the season he's having.
Carr is having a great season. Vegas has shown that they're not completely in on the idea of keeping Carr in at their
No. Gruden was shown that he's not completely in on keeping Carr.
True.
So
but
let's take away dipshit Magoo from Vegas, right? So he's gone. See ya.
Sure.
First game, Carr throws up 380 some yards, and the offense looks like a brand new machine. Let's say Derek Carr finishes the year throwing for let's say, I don't know what he's on pace for, but it's got to be 4,400 plus yards, right? 28 plus touchdowns, less than 14 interceptions, playing pretty well.
I view Carr as a better quarterback than Garoppolo. I
1,000
wholeheartedly do.
Right. That's not what I'm saying.
Both of them in the same offense, I think, is probably a lateral move.
Right. So why wouldn't Vegas re-sign
Garoppolo or Carr in the Raiders offense? So I don't think he's going to go there, but that's been the talk of Rodgers potentially going to Vegas.
Really? That one that one right over my head.
Yeah, so the Rodgers landing places are Denver, Pittsburgh, and Vegas. Because
they're going to need that domino to fall before anything else happens. But then look at what about? So there's Pittsburgh, right? I could see Jimmy Garoppolo in Pittsburgh. I think
that's a great place for him.
That's a great fit. Low cap number, prove it deal.
They can
Maybe they
use their
draft,
pick immediately to go get an offensive line upgrade.
which they
And
would need, and they can draft
this
Spencer
upcoming
Rattler,
class,
they could draft
this
Rattler
upcoming
in the
class
7th
is
round.
really good at interior offensive line.
Oh yeah,
which
they need
is
all of them
exciting.
across the line, left to right tackle. They need a new one.
Yeah, I believe there's some upcoming tackle free agents that are going to be. I think Bakhtiari's contract might be coming up soon.
So what a scenario. Okay, so Bakhtiari decides to leave, Adams decides to leave, and Rodgers decides to leave, and all three of them go full NBA and join whatever franchise they want on like 2 or 3 year deals. How bananas would that be?
Hang on.
That's an
I'm trying
instant
to get
Super Bowl
David
team.
Bakhtiari's contract.
Just hit up Sport Track. Also, shout out Sport Track. Their contract information is top tier.
Okay,
look,
Bakhtiari's still on the payroll through 2024.
Okay. All right. That's the news. We rantled there, but that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, we're good. We're vibing. Shout out to everyone sticking around. I forgot Coach Craig Sports. Have a great show, fellas. Just wanted to pop in and say hi. Yeah, we love you, homie.
Thanks,
you're
Greg.
dope. Of course, you can check, he's on with Julian, the point after team after us. I think they're only an hour apart from us. So I've happily hopped on with them. They're a fantastic group. Look, we're going to get into a week 7 preview when we get back. Before we take off for a second, I just want to shout out Trophy Smack. Look, Trophy Smack is fantastic. They've just added a fantasy football portion to their website, right? From Shark Tank and all that very successful company. To have me on has been great. And you can use promo code TIPPLE to go and get yourself a trophy. You put that trophy, put the ring in the cart. Guess what? That $60 ring is going to be free. So you can go over there to Trophy Smack, use that promo code pip pat boop. Bam. You're going to get it done. Yeah, we're going to do that, Billy, for sure.
Okay.
Look, just
seamless transition there.
We're going to do, that's what we do.
We can do it now. We don't have to throw it to.
No, I've committed to hitting the button.
And so he hit the button.
I hit the button. Today on the Discombobulated podcast, 2 men are going to try to get through a show without fumbling. Tune in and find
We're the
out.
wrong 2 people, baby.
I know.
It's not our strong.
Who knew Jacob was the stability? I didn't know.
If there's going to be anyone, it was you.
I know. I don't know who let me run my own podcast. Look, we're going to do a different kind of Billy stat corner because Jacob's not here and I'm not smart enough to answer these questions by myself. I need backup, which is the whole premise of that entire gimmick. So, Billy, what are we going to do to supplement the stat corner this week?
All right. Today I went on a little bit of a fun tirade. I sent out some tweets talking about how ridiculous some of the stats I found over the course of this year have been. One of my favorite ones was following that. Hang on, let me pull up my Twitter real quick just to make sure that I quote everything correctly.
Another seamless podcast transition.
So currently, Derrick Henry is number 1 in rushing yards, and Nick Chubb is number 2. However, they're separated by 260 rushing yards. Yeah. So if you were to go down another 260 yards from Nick Chubb, so the difference from Henry to Chubb, then Chubb to next one below 260, you'd pass Devin Singletary, Jalen Hurts, Mark Ingram, Chuba Hubbard, and Alexander Madison. That's just a fun stat. So now we're going to hammer home one more fun stat, explain how crazy Derrick Henry is. So besides the Tennessee Titans, how many teams currently average more rushing yards per game than Derrick Henry?
Okay, hold on. 6. He's got 5. Okay, I'm going to say, Baltimore's 1.
Baltimore is 1.
Cleveland
is 1.
Minnesota?
Minnesota does not.
Really? Because they've
They're
rushed the
just
ball well in
outside.
every game. Okay.
They're just outside.
Rushing per game. That's tough because it's not. You know what? I'm Philadelphia.
Nope.
Okay, I thought maybe Hurts would give him the bump. I think that's going to be it. I think it's Baltimore, Cleveland.
So it's actually 5.
Oh, okay. Fuck me.
It's
I'm
Baltimore,
terrible.
Cleveland.
Oh,
then
Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Buffalo and Arizona.
That's interesting to me that Buffalo is on there.
Yeah, Devin Singletary and Zach Moss have both kind of been contributing about the same, and then Josh Allen is just a little bit more on top of it.
Super frustrated. I just I want Buffalo to just pick a running back, and I know, well, Tom, we all want people to pick a running back, but really, pick a running back.
But like that's such a crazy stat to me that Derrick Henry alone is out rushing. The Chicago Bears, the Vikings, Saints, Chiefs, Colts, 49ers, Jaguars, Eagles, Seahawks, Packers, Panthers, and I'm not even close to the bottom of that list.
Look, here's to me the grossest part of what Derrick Henry is doing. Derrick Henry is not an exciting running back to watch play football 92% of his snaps. 92% of Derrick Henry's snaps are boring as fuck. He's slugging into the back of his lineman. 8 people are jumping on top of him. And then out of nowhere, and I get that him hitting it was like 21.7 miles per hour on the long run. It was the fastest play in the league this year, if I heard that stat right.
Which is unfair.
I just want to say that run wasn't impressive to me outside of the fact that it was by a 6'3", 250-pound running back. He didn't make some ridiculous cut into the hole. He didn't break 4 tackles. The safety was absolute hot dog water in making the tackle, right? I feel like, let's say, I don't know, out of the elite running backs, 65% of them make that touchdown run. Right? McCaffrey scores on that play. Chubb scores on that play. Hunt could make a case. Ezekiel Elliott could make a case. Right? Jonathan Taylor. That run wasn't impressive to me outside of the fact that he had done not a lot when it comes to big play, but he's so big, it makes it so fun. And it's also, what they're trying to do. He's not an exciting player to watch unless it's inside the 5 or he scores from 70 plus out.
I've long had a take. This is going to sound funny to compare these two players, but I think it's funny. I've long had a take on Tom Brady that I think relates to Derrick Henry very well.
100%. I already know it.
The thing that upsets people about Tom Brady is there's nothing Tom Brady does that's better, that he does the best out of any quarterback other than win. Like, the thing that Derrick Henry doesn't do anything that he's the best at other than not get tackled. Like, that's that's really the take, is he's so flipping good at just being a running back. And that's Tom Brady too. He's so flipping good at being a quarterback.
You know what's insane? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna, you see the old video game charts that point out how well your statistics are, and some of them have a log little line. Like, if you were to plot Aaron Rodgers, he'd have this big spike in accuracy. Mahomes would have this big spike in deep ball. Brady wouldn't have one of those spikes, but he's still so good at just being a quarterback.
He's also done it for so long that you're like, yeah, fuck, we get it. Hey, he was so good last year that a lot of people failed to realize that it was statistically one of his best seasons of his career.
He's been better in his 40s than he was in his 20s.
Yeah, and people are just like, yeah, whatever, it's Brady. That's what's gross. Yeah. So the funny thing that the thing that blows my mind about Derrick Henry is that he doesn't have a fumble this year.
Yep.
He gets hit by more players than arguably anyone that isn't a lineman in the league, and everyone's trying to rip at the ball, and he just basically double birds them the whole way. He is phenomenal. But
me and the people I was working with were debating Super Bowl contenders, and a lot of them want to write off the Titans. But the problem is the Titans have this way to win that's almost foolproof. Like, if they are the best at protecting a lead. They basically have a mobile quarterback. Like,
Yeah.
just it's the same concept with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. They're very good at playing from ahead. And if they get that initial lead, they win because Derrick Henry, he's going to get 4 yards every carry, and he's not going to turn the ball over. Like,
and the thing that's frustrating is he gets 4 yards a carry because 1 out of 10 he's going to go for 40 yards.
Exactly.
Like, I'm looking, and how many running backs do you think have two carries of 20 or more and 2 carries of 40 or more in the season? How many?
2 carries of 20 or more and 2 carries of
40 and more out of all the elite running backs in the league.
I guess 3.
So out of all of the, let's say the top, how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's just say roughly the top 25 with players with 20 or more runs. And this is including quarterbacks. 2 people have 20 carries. Have carries 2 or more of your carries of 20 or 40 yards. And it's Derrick Henry with 3 runs of 20 or more and 2 of 40 or more. And the other one is Chase Edmonds with 2 of 20 and 2 of 40. That's it.
That is not who I would have thought it was.
I know, but it's Derrick Henry.
I was definitely going Nick Chubb and JT.
Yeah, nope. Chubb has 1 of 40, 5 of 20. JT has 4 of 20 and 1 of 40.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's absolutely disgusting.
Derrick Henry is phenomenal. And before we continue giving him some praise, I do want to point out one more fun stat I found.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes, through 6 games, currently has more rushing yards than Myles Gaskin, Josh Jacobs, Cordero Patterson, and Michael Carter. I don't really think that matters, but that's just fun to me. I enjoy that stat.
You know what is funny? I remember getting flamed for saying that Michael Carter was going to suck. And enjoy that second-round pick over guys like Rondale Moore, everybody. Enjoy that. Look, we're going to get into the week preview. When we come back in a second, we're actually going to get into the games here. Look, we're cruising through this almost half-hour broadcast. Real exciting.
Look at us.
Yeah, look at us go. Only a few fumbles, but that's okay. Fumbles don't matter. All right, just keep moving. Unless we come back, we're going to get into a... yeah, fair. Or against, the Raiders, and you have 3 of them in week 1. All right, when we come back, I'm not bitter about that at all. We're going to talk preview. Yeah. Ooh, good timing. Okay, look.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about 4 games. This is our 4. Oh my God, Tom, speak. Our 4 favorite games of the week is what we're going to talk about. So, Billy, what's your first game that you are most excited about on this seemingly really not so fantastic slate of games this week?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of work done in fantasy football that kind of 6 games is where we start to see trends become pretty solid. And now we're beyond that point now. We've hit 6 games for a lot of these teams. And now is kind of where I think we want to get into the meat and potatoes and see how much these trends are going to be sticky. And because of that, I think one of the most interesting games moving into this weekend to observe how much these trends are going to stick are the Falcons and the Dolphins. Like they're playing on Sunday afternoon, and I think they have some of the more interesting fantasy pieces moving forward through the rest of the season that we kind of just need some clarification on. And I think this is a great game where 2 struggling offenses are playing 2 horrid defenses, and we're going to see if some of these pieces can kind of show out. Because if at this point, if they don't in this game, I think we need to cut our ties with them moving forward in redraft, or at least worry a little bit more about them for some of these pieces. So with the Falcons, you have players like Calvin Ridley, you have players like Kyle Pitts who have had their moments, but haven't really looked like these. Kyle Pitts was drafted to be a top 5 tight end. Calvin Ridley was drafted to be a top 8 wide receiver. And we've seen this breakout game from Pitts, but we haven't seen this gigantic breakout from Ridley yet. And he's playing against a beat-up Dolphins secondary without Howard, without Byron Jones. I think this is the biggest time for Calvin Ridley to blow up. And if he doesn't do it this game, I'd be pretty worried about him moving forward in redraft. Next up on the Dolphins side of the ball, we're playing the exact same game. This is go time for Myles Gaskin, who's looked extremely exciting in moments and then god-awful in other moments. And Tua, who had probably the best game of his career last week against the Jaguars. I mean, he looked like the Tua we saw in college. And granted, they lost the game, and they want to trade him, and the Dolphins hate Tua. But, I mean...
They do hate Tua.
This is what we want to see from Tua. If they can go out and produce a good game here without Will Fuller, without Devonta Parker, and it's just Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, and whatever dude they can grab off the side of the street, and Myles Gaskin, like, this is the moment that the Dolphins offense can show we are a formidable team. And I just haven't seen that yet. So if we can see both these trends kind of flip, I'd be a little bit more curious. But if we see a lot of them stay the course over the course of this game, if we see Ridley disappointing, Tua disappointing, Mike Davis disappointing, Cordero, like I'd be prepared to just write them off moving forward.
Yeah, like not being a big Calvin Ridley guy myself, this season has actually disappointed me in how poorly he's performed in even the games he's played. He doesn't look like an elite receiver right now. Look, I didn't want it to be this way, right? You don't want it to be this way, but it just looks like he kind of has Juju Smith-Schuster syndrome. Right?
Ooh, I'm not going there, but
no, it does. It does look like that to me.
Similar situation where you remove this really big target, but I don't think he's going to.
In 4 games, he has 42 targets. He's caught only 27 of them. He has 255 yards. His yards per target is just barely over 6, and he has 1 touchdown.
Yeah. So
as the number 1 guy, as the elite guy. Now people might say, but Matt Ryan's been really bad for fantasy. Not really. QB 23. And I know that's not like awesome, right? But it was their bye week last week, and he's still the QB 23. He's still putting up nearly 300 yards per game, multiple touchdowns per game. It's just all going to Cordero Patterson and lately Kyle Pitts. But it's after the bye week. So maybe after the bye week, they game plan it. It's the scripted plays, right, that you expect for your elite player. I'm not seeing them. Right?
Calvin Ridley, go ahead.
He's not taking over the game. Right? Calvin Ridley isn't walking into a game right now and looks like he's just like, guys, we need to shift like everything. He's not doing those things you expect to see out of him. So he was never a top 12, top 14 dynasty receiver for me, personally. And it sucks that what we're seeing is he's not even putting up a fight to be in that category right now. Adding the fact that Matt Ryan could be gone and the situation gets murky, I don't know, man.
I mean, through 4 games, he's on pace for over 100 receptions, 1,000 and some yards, and 4 touchdowns. Like yards are the thing that he has always done really well. His yards per game isn't much lower than what he was in 2019. It just isn't at the crazy heights it was last year. And his catch percentage is pretty close to on par with what he's done over the course of his career. Like I don't think this is Ridley just falling off the map. I just
no. Obviously,
the way that they're
way
using
under
him is different. Like his yards per reception is down ridiculous.
I know. But look at Kyle Pitts.
His yards
in the
per
same
reception.
offense.
He's averaging three less yards per reception this year.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a different coaching staff. Matt Ryan's been fine enough to have Kyle Pitts have 36 targets, 24 receptions, 308 yards, and a touchdown. Right now, Kyle Pitts, and like he's just Ridley doesn't. Again, he doesn't look like the alpha to me. So it'll be
It's
interesting to see what
weird
happens with him, his
because
contract, all that stuff.
it's weird. It feels like going into this year, we were like, okay, they're drafting Pitts to play wide receiver. They're drafting him to replace Julio, and Ridley's going to be Ridley. It's almost like they drafted Pitts to be Ridley, and Ridley is Julio.
Well, he looks like, he looks like,
And
yeah.
they don't do the same role.
No.
So
and as
I
they're
think someone's
evolving,
going to wise up and something's going to change there.
Right. There's no way. What I'm saying is, and I know there's like the perennial, like, buy this player. He's a great value. Buy low on him. Ridley is actually a kind of a player that you would maybe want to try and go out and do because people might just be over it. But until last season hit, he wasn't an elite dominant receiver to begin with. So then he has the elite dominant season last year. And then this year, he's kind of going back to what he was in 2019. That to me is a trend that concerns me. And maybe I didn't word it that way to begin with. But if that trend is continuing, then yeah.
Doing some quick math over here.
No, that's LG. Do your math. You're a smart guy. Look, my first game, we're going to keep it pretty obvious, right? It's Baltimore and Cincinnati. This game matters. This isn't just going to be me sitting here talking about how great the Ravens are, because this game is going to be as 50-50 as it gets. Look, I know Lamar Jackson's 5-0 against the Bengals. I know that they outscored him 68-6 last season. This is a different team. It's a different Bengals team. The Bengals have been pretty good at fantasy football. I don't know about that, but they've been pretty good at football overall. They're right in the middle. 17th in fantasy points given up through the air and 18th in fantasy points given up through the ground. The reason that this concerns me is Joe Burrow and the receiving core in Cincinnati. They're pretty good at football. And the Ravens can give up yards and touchdowns through the air. I know last week, all the stats are kind of skewed because of last week, but before that, they were just giving up points to fantasy quarterbacks and receivers. So you have Chase, you have Higgins, and you have Tyler Boyd, right? Pretty good core. And now all of a sudden, Joe Mixon is showing up looking like he can play football again. Like he has two working feet attached to his body. So this game is going to be interesting. A trend that I want to see happen is Lamar Jackson throwing the ball efficiently. Last week, the efficiency went down a little bit. He had the 2 picks. One of them we can blame on Bateman. I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. Oh, it was the linebacker dropping into zone, and Jackson didn't read it. Horrible decision, horrible play, horrible everything on that one. Billy, when you look at the Ravens and you look at the Bengals, obviously some players stick out to you. Which is the player on the Bengals side that you think is going to stick out the most? And if you had to pick someone not named Lamar Jackson on the Ravens, who do you think is going to stick out to you the most on the Ravens side?
All right, cool. Real quick, Calvin Ridley last year, his current pace for 16 games, last year he would have been the wide receiver 20. So
yeah,
that
not great.
Yeah. So sorry. What was the question again? I heard what you were saying. I just
one player on Cincinnati that's going to stand out to you in their game, in their matchup this week that you're looking to see trends continue for, and one player not named Lamar Jackson on the Ravens. Because I think at this point we all know what Lamar Jackson's gonna be.
No, this is a very straightforward question in my eyes. It's T. Higgins on the Bengals. Like I need to see him become more involved. We were built up by our boy Jacob here that T. Higgins was going to be a wide receiver 1 this year. He was putting out Twitter threads, and I was starting to buy into it a little bit, and that's not been the case. Has been faltering. Like he just hasn't produced in the games where he's had those extreme opportunities as that high end talent. We've seen these high passing volume teams sustain multiple wide receiver 1s, and I think the Bengals are completely able to do that. And I don't think Tyler Boyd is going to cipher a whole lot away from him. I think the problem is Jamar Chase is absolute menace. Like he's producing so much. So it's hard to say all of a sudden, oh, give it all to T. Higgins. So I just want to see T. Higgins out there running a lot of routes, looking good on his routes, and getting targeted by Burrow. In terms of the Ravens, it has to be Rashad Bateman. It has to be Rashad Bateman. Like he's going to play this week. I want to see that offense with a healthy Rashad Bateman lined in. And he's probably not back at 100%, but I want to see something and see how that team is scheming around him. Because Hollywood has been having a monster season. I feel like we haven't been talking about Hollywood enough and how much he's producing. Like currently Hollywood is the wide receiver 7 in PPR.
Yep. And it all comes back to that game against Detroit.
Yeah, and he could be probably the wide receiver 3
and
if he caught two of those
last
passes.
week he didn't have a great game. Only 4 receptions for 34 yards, no scores, and he's still the wide receiver 7. So
yeah, we're watching Lamar develop a deep ball and a team that's ready to allow him to throw that deep ball. I caught myself there, Tom. But I think if we can see Bateman come in and be a big part of that offense, we need to be real excited about him moving forward because the Ravens are going to have Bateman as the prototypical alpha moving forward.
He was tied for the team lead in targets in his first game in a game they were ahead, right? Yep. And if he doesn't drop that ball on the slant route and it doesn't become an amazing, and that was an amazing interception, amazing by Kaiser, right? Bateman had yards in front of him. A ton of yards in front of him, 20 or 30 from what I saw, and he could have really broke loose. That would have changed his stat line, big time. People would have been even more eyes popping out of their head, oogling, ooh ah, about Bateman than they kind of already are. So I agree with you there. The Ravens are going to have to put up points. Well, what do you mean, Tom? Teams always have to put up a lot of points. Not really, right? There are games where you can tell that's going to be over. Look at their Denver game. You knew that game was going to be over, and they didn't put up 29 points, 33 points, right? They're going to have to put up the 24, 28, 31 kind of points against this Bengals team, and I truly believe that. And I know you said that last week. I get it. All signs pointed to the Chargers coming in and putting up that kind of yardage, and they just didn't.
Yeah, that was a weird game.
Weird game. It's going to be probably maybe the best or the second best game on the slate, I feel like, because the slate's not great, right? LA is going to steamroll Detroit, Miami and Atlanta. Okay, we talked about that. Tennessee, Kansas City, which we're going to get into in a minute. Sure, awesome. Indy, San Francisco could be okay. New Orleans and Seattle is not fun anymore because of Geno Smith, right? It's just Baltimore and Cincinnati basically for the AFC lead. Right. So very interesting game. I love that one just for fun so I can record it. If I had to say prediction time, I'll call it 31-26 Baltimore. I think there's going to be extra points missed.
Got some weird numbers in there.
It is. It's going to be a weird one, but the way the Ravens games have been going this year, if you try to make it like an even, totally chill number, there's going to go, psych! Billy, the next game you wanted to talk about is what and why?
Yeah, I want to talk about the Chiefs and the Titans because there's two really interesting pieces of data that I think we can get from this game. One of them are how the Titans truly value A.J. Brown, because right now we have the situation pretty close to what we had last year because there's no Corey Davis. Julio isn't there. We just have A.J. Brown in that wide receiving core. Like, this is what we thought we were going to have. We were touting A.J. Brown as the wide receiver 1 this year when it was just him in that offense. And we're finally getting that. So the question is, how often does Tennessee forcefully get him the ball? One, how healthy is he? Because apparently he can't keep solid food down. And two, how much is that team just going to continuously feed Derrick Henry? We know they're going to, but in A script that should be completely negative. Boy, oh boy, should they be feeding, or should AJ Brown be getting the ball? And the other piece is what's going on with Mahomes. Like this is the most get right game for Mahomes of all time. Mahomes is currently number 2 in the league with interceptions, tied with Trevor Lawrence, above
He's in there
players
with
like
Zach
Sam
Wilson,
Darnold,
Lawrence.
and Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Like this Mahomes script is so very strange. And granted, he's thrown the ball a lot more, but like something just isn't good in Kansas City right now. And if it's legitimate, it's going to show itself against Tennessee, which is probably top 5 worst defense in the league.
They're 32nd against the pass when it comes to fantasy points given up per game. 32nd.
Exactly. Like this is the most, like, if Mahomes goes out and has a bad game, game as an NFL quarterback, because he'll be fine for fantasy. Like,
of course.
This is like the status check from Mahomes.
Look, I think that there's a legitimate case that Patrick Mahomes is no longer the certified 101 of quarterbacks in fantasy football. I think that teams have figured out that offense a little bit, and their defense is just bad enough. But I think Patrick Mahomes is getting rivaled by Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, and Lamar Jackson. I think that tier has expanded from just Mahomes. So for me, when I watch this game, I want to see how they use Darrell Williams, because 2 touchdowns last week. They ran the ball. It helped Mahomes. Take away that ridiculous. I don't know what the hell was Mahomes doing. Look, I'm a guy.
That one interception.
I'm short. I'm a little overweight, and I have a noodle arm. But even I feel comfortable going, what the fuck are you doing with throwing that interception? That was one of the most egregious NFL megastar, not even superstar, megastar, boneheaded things I've seen an elite quarterback probably ever do. And I feel like he's pressing. He's pressing too hard.
I said this on the weekend review, it feels like Mahomes is trying to be Mahomes out there.
Yeah, he knows about it now, right?
Yeah, it feels like he's out there and it's not natural. He's like, oh, I'm about to get sacked. I can throw a 40-yard touchdown out of this. And that just doesn't work every time. Like, it feels like he's trying to do these, like, crazy things when the smart play is just to get downfield, which is fine. I mean, he did that at Texas Tech, too. Like, he had these moments, and we saw it kind of get worked out his first couple of years in the league. He still had some of these moments. But, like, there was the thing last year where he did a no-look pass to Travis Kelce, who was wide open in the end zone.
And he missed.
Airmailed him.
Yeah, like Kelce was pissed.
Like there is going to be things like this with a player like Mahomes, and he just needs to work himself out of it.
You know what I said on the weekend? I was like, Mahomes has come to that point where he's been unbearable to watch after a play. And he has that thing now where he knows he's a superstar. So, and I feel like this happens to like a lot of quarterbacks, where now he's at a point where he thinks he can get away with everything. So everything is a penalty that's going to go his way. Every throw is going to work out, right? Just because he is who he is. So it's kind of piggybacking off of what you said. I'm noticing an attitude change in Patrick Mahomes, and it's showing itself on the field. And I think maybe the Super Bowl, I think the Super Bowl loss is hitting him harder than people think. Right? Because now he's trying to be perfect and trying to be perfect in his way, and it is not going crisp. When I'm watching this game, I just want to see the Chiefs be the Kansas City Chiefs. What does that mean, Tom? That just means I want to see Kansas City come out, run the ball a handful of times up the middle, and then throw it 45 times, even when they have the lead. I want to see them throw it short. I want to see quick outs. I want to see them hit Kelce for 5 yards where he turns it into 12. I want to see a couple of deep bombs to no-name wide receivers, freeing up Tyreek Hill to do his thing. I want the Kansas City Chiefs to come in and play a Kansas City brand of football for probably the first time this year And I want them to do it without looking like they're lost. That's what I'm looking for. Because if they can't do it against Tennessee, we're really looking at a team that could miss the freaking playoffs after back-to-back big games, back-to-back Super Bowls, the big game.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I'm not saying the Titans are a measuring stick for the Chiefs. Just because the Titans beat the Bills.
They are a measuring stick though, because they're a measuring stick against the Titans are a measuring stick for the Chiefs, so they can measure themselves against their own demons, right? It's not really about the Titans. Yeah. It's about the Chiefs measuring themselves against themselves more than their opponent, because they're hurting themselves more than other teams are, period.
There's no reason they should go to 3-4.
No, absolutely not. But we could see it. So it's they got to save themselves from themselves. Look, the last game we're going to talk about here, and I kind of didn't want to pick this game, right? I was hesitant to pick this game just so everyone knows. But the games are so gross this weekend that I'm actually going to talk about the Panthers and the Giants. And this game has some implications, right? I know. But Sam Darnold's terrible. He was so bad last week. Was he? Actually? Or did his receivers forget how to play football? 8 drops. Robbie Anderson had what? 3 catches on 11 targets. DJ Moore had what? 5 on 14. Unacceptable, period. And yeah, could the balls been placed any better? Yeah, sure they could. A lot of throws in the league could. Tom Brady makes a bunch of throws that his receivers bail him out on, but no one talks about it. And then Sam Darnold leads a 94 and 97-yard drive to get him within range for a 2-point conversion and tie the game. And he does it. And it looks easy. You know why? His receivers caught the ball. That game would have been completely different if his receivers just caught the fucking ball, and maybe if they could protect. Now, this team is missing Christian McCaffrey really bad. And look, the Panthers miss McCaffrey more than all of our fantasy lineups miss McCaffrey, period.
Yeah.
In the 3 games with McCaffrey, Darnold played fantastic. He's great. Top 10 quarterback in fantasy. Without him, well, he's still a top 12, or at least was up until yesterday. I think he was 11 in 4-point passing touchdown leagues. But it's been rough, and it's been some garbage time, and it's him using his legs and not scoring touchdowns. The trends I want to see is DJ Moore's target share, right? Terrace Marshall is out, concussion. From what I understand, I'm trying to quickly look through and find that. I just had it, and then I had lost it right here. Panthers, Terrace Marshall, concussion. He is out. Shaq Thompson, out. Cam Irving, questionable. I want to see how this team operates with those 2 main receivers. I don't know who the 4th receiver is. Oh, it's Zylstra. Yeah, the CFL All-Star.
Yeah.
Actually.
Also, Ian Thomas, apparently, because he's been... Every time I look up, he's catching the ball. I don't know.
Well, yeah, they traded down, right? But I want to see how DJ Moore's target share continue, because right now DJ Moore's target share is outrageous. His targets, it's top 5 in the league for targets. It's unreal, and he's got to take the next step to be the elite receiver. I know this. I understand this. As much as I'm a huge fan of DJ Moore, he does have to stop dropping the fucking ball and make the plays that are a little harder, right? Then you'll be in that elite echelon. He's got the elite target share, the yards, his pace, his fantasy points, everything across the board. Fantastic. Consistency will be key. And on the other side for the New York Giants, I think Barkley was supposed to be back this week. No, next week, 1 to 2 weeks.
Yes.
Barkley did not practice. He's out. He's already ruled out. Galladay ruled out. Tony ruled out. Oh my God. Darius Slayton, limited in practice. Shepard, hamstring, questionable, limited in practice. Evan Ingram, calf, questionable. John Ross, hamstring, limited, questionable. The entire offense is dead. But Daniel Jones should be playing this week. This is a test for Daniel Jones. Okay. Can he do anything for fantasy in this game? Because if Daniel Jones can find a way to do anything for fantasy, are just tore up. Yeah, they are. That whole offense it's going to be rough. This is why I think it's going to be a good game for Darnold. But because they should have the ball a fucking lot. But if Daniel Jones can come out here, and what would say would be a successful game for Daniel Jones in this scenario for you? 15 points? 15 fantasy points this week would probably be, you'd be ecstatic if you need to play him, right?
Like the only way I could see them gain around that is them relying on his legs, which they probably have to do. Because I mean, Devontae Booker isn't going to be able to run against this Carolina defense.
No,
they
absolutely not.
They don't have a whole lot of receivers who are probably going to play. I mean, Shepard and Slayton are probably going to play, but I mean, Shepard and Slayton.
How effective?
Play, so, like that, it looks bad.
The Panthers are first against, or first for not allowing fantasy points to running backs. Yeah. So Booker is dead this week. It's not gonna. Yeah. It's not gonna be great. And they're 14th against the for the pass. So for fantasy points, Carolina. So he's gonna have some opportunities, and I think if Shepard plays, he's gonna be hyper targeted. Targeted.
I mean, that's what happens to Shepard.
Yeah. So I think I want to see Daniel Jones in this game put up about 15 points. If you can put up 15 points, I think you're going to be happy. That's not what I'm expecting. I'm expecting this game to be a 24-6 finish. I think it's going to be boring and ugly. But you're looking for DJ Moore and his target share and his efficiency. Looking for Robbie Anderson to not be an absolute trash can for once this season and just help his quarterback just one time. You know what, Billy? You used to tell me that Robbie Anderson was a good receiver. You used to tell me that he was a fine receiver. Right now, Robbie Anderson looks like he'd be the fourth string on about 20 rosters.
Hey, he worked with Brady. I don't know what it is. Robbie Anderson and Sam Darnold don't mix. Like
Robbie Anderson owes Sam Darnold for getting him another contract because everyone's just hanging on to that 900-yard season in New York. He's bad. He's a bad receiver.
Anderson was successful with Kyle Allen, Teddy Bridgewater. I don't understand.
Is that really successful? He was okay. He's not. I don't know. Robbie Anderson has been trash. He can't catch a ball. He caught the bag of money, right, over the shoulder. Boom, bag of money. Ran it into the bank, spiked it on the counter, and I think he's just called it a season because Robbie Anderson is checked out.
If I ran to you and said Sam Darnold was the QB 11 through the first 6 weeks, you'd probably think Robbie Anderson is a top 24 wide receiver.
But Robbie Anderson has been abysmal.
It's weird. I don't get it.
He's been abysmal. Like his drops, I don't even want to go. I don't want to look at his drops. I kind of want to look at his drops. Billy, can you find his drops?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to bring Maddie into every show to produce, so I can have him catching stats for us.
His catch percentage is currently 37%.
Horrific. He's horrific.
Yeah. If I told you Sam Darnold had 140 yards through the first 6 games. Prior to this season, you'd probably think Robbie Anderson had 400. Toss another 300.
He's the wide receiver 62.
Yeah, it's bad.
He's played every game and has 2 games of 10 or more targets. And another one of 7, another one of 6. He's garbage. He's absolute trash. We have a question from Ben here. I hope I say this right. Ben Nestor. I believe that's Khalil Herbert versus Tampa or Sheffield versus Carolina. I'm playing Khalil Herbert because he can catch the ball out of the backfield, and Damian Williams is not playing this week, I believe.
Yeah, Damian Williams is going to play. I'm probably going to play Khalil Herbert. I don't like it.
Hold on. I'm going to check that. See if
Damian Williams isn't playing this week.
I have it listed. Shut up, Billy. I'm trying to do this right. Looking for the name. He's not even listed.
This was a sleeper alert.
Bears. Damian Williams was not listed on the injury report.
Yeah, it's COVID. It's COVID IR.
Oh, so it doesn't actually go on this injury report? NFL.com, you're the worst football website there is out there.
I think he's activated, but he needs like 10 days of negative tests because he's vaccination.
Yeah, I'm playing Herbert here. He was my big play of the week last week, and he did just fine. He had 3 receptions against Green Bay, so kind of a difficult matchup. 19 carries, he had 5 to carry with the touchdown. He's fast, right? He can catch the ball.
Okay,
so
he can be cleared if he continues to test negative until Saturday. So if he tests negative on Saturday, he'll be clear to play.
So if Williams is playing, are you starting Shepard?
I'd probably still play Herbert.
Half-point PPR, hey? Look, personally, I think if Damian Williams is playing, I'm playing Shepard. Nailed the pronunciation. That's what I'm fucking talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Damian Williams is on he's basically on a veteran minimum contract.
Right, but Damian Williams is a better running back than Khalil Herbert. Who as a late round rookie, had a decent game last week, right? But they're still going to use Damian Williams if they have him because that's how NFL teams operate.
I liked Khalil Herbert coming out of the draft.
Oh, he's looked good, but Damian Williams with the pass catching ability kind of nerfs Herbert's playability, in my opinion. And I think that if Shepard does play, which it looks like he will, again, hyper targeted, you could see 15 targets this week.
Maybe.
So in a game, they're likely to be behind. So this is what I would say, Ben. If Shepard plays, or if Damian Williams plays, I'm playing Shepard. If Damian Williams is out, I am playing Khalil Herbert. And Billy's is Herbert no matter what. So There you go. You can also tune into the Start and Sit show over there at Fantasy Intervention on YouTube, where Chase, myself, and we have had a couple of different guests join us. We will make sure to let you know if Damian Williams is suiting up or not and what to expect. So you can do that. Anything you want to add about the slates of games before we get into our picks and get out of here?
No, you kind of hammered it home. It isn't the best week for games.
Potentially.
Just because so many players are out. I think Chiefs-Titans, you want as many pieces of that game as you can get. But besides that, it's a rough week. I think we're good to move on to the picks.
Ben. All right. So look, Ben, hopefully you stick around for this next one because when we come back, we're going to be hammering out our picks for the week. Billy is ahead right now. I haven't got a fucking win. It's really depressing. Every lineup I pick is just horrific. Planets are not aligning for me. So sit tight when we come back in just a second. We're going to do our picks, and we're going to send you out for the weekend on a good note. Okay, so the Full Tilt Dynasty podcast, we like to kind of battle wits. I don't know when this game started, but I think it started when we were doing FNL still. We did this a couple of times. But every week we pick a quarterback outside of the top 15, a running back outside of the top 18, a wide receiver out of the top 24, and a tight end outside of the top 8 as per Fantasy Pros weekly rankings. And it's getting harder because everyone is dead. It's getting difficult.
The RB is impossible.
Right. So last week, I think Jacob took it. Yeah, it was 63.98 fantasy points. Points per game and 4-point passing touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. And no tight end premium. I was second because, fantasy gods hate me. I was 52.44, probably my best lineup, and still finished second. Billy, you came up third, 38.42, and our guest last week.
Hitman was disappointing.
Super disappointing. At Cody NFL or Cody Carpentier of Player Profiler, he came in and he hit up with a 36.98 point total. I see my pick. I went Tannehill, Khalil Herbert, T. Higgins, and Dalton Schultz. So, hey, I'm happy with that. So, Billy, who do you have this week? Give me all of them. We're going to run it through. I don't have any picks from Jacob. He didn't send me any. So, Jacob is not in this week.
All right.
I was not because I was day drinking on my birthday that one time I missed.
All right. So starting off, we're going prime time. I'm taking Jimmy Garoppolo against the Colts.
Okay.
Colts defense
Okay.
has looked rough. I'm expecting Garoppolo to come out and sling the ball. Their running back core looks okay, but I think they're going to have to rely on the passing game, and the Colts offense is kind of figuring it out. So hopefully that means good things for the Colts offense and a good game script for Jimmy G. Give me Garoppolo at the QB position. At the running back position, you know what? There's a banged up Antonio Gibson. And
Yes.
that means a lot of good things for J.D. McKissick. I think the Washington football team is going to be behind a lot in this game, and there's potential that the football team is missing both Gibson and McLaurin. I don't think both of those are going to happen. I think there's a better chance Gibson misses, but give me McKissick's target share in that situation. Boy, oh boy, potential for 10 receptions.
100%.
At the wide receiver position, I'm taking my boy, my absolute favorite guy. I'm taking Jacoby Myers. They're playing the Jets. The Jets have been surprisingly good against passing attacks this year. I don't think that matters. I think Jacoby Myers is about as locked in for 8 receptions and 60 yards as you can get.
I just want him to score a fucking touchdown already. Like, can we get the man?
Such a big celebration when it happens.
Oh my god!
It's gonna be like a couple years ago when Julio didn't score a touchdown for the first 8 weeks.
Yeah,
like
this is almost like his career. Like this is, I agree. Who's your tight end? Oh, that's your tight end.
At tight end, I'm taking Tyler Higbee. Stafford has got a revenge game against the Lions, and I couldn't take Cooper Woods. Like I think he's going to produce a lot of touchdowns here, and I think there's a legitimate chance Stafford goes out and throws 4 or 5 touchdowns in this game. So you know what? Give me Stafford, and hopefully one of those goes towards Higbee.
Fucking Tyler, human trash can Higbee. Okay. Look, for me, it's pretty simple. I'm going to take Mac Jones. You took Jacoby Myers, which kind of sucks. But that's fine because he's going to hit other receivers like Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne and Hunter Henry. But I don't think Mac Jones has played as badly as people want to say he has. I think he's been just fine. He actually looks like the best quarterback of the rookies, in my opinion, as it comes from development from week 1 to now. It looks like he's developed the most out of those other guys. I think he got shit on a little bit too much. I'm going to pick Mac Jones to have a big 3 rushing touchdown week so Billy gets screwed over his points. Please, Lord, let that happen. At running back, Miles Sanders has fallen so far that I actually get to pick him. So I'm picking Miles Sanders. He's been kind of a punching bag, but they play a Vegas defense that can get run on. One big play is all I need. So please, Miles Sanders, have one big play. At wide receiver, I'm taking Rondale Moore. Now, this pick was a little bit down the list when it came to wide receivers, even for our parameters, but they're playing the Houston Texans. So touchdowns aplenty. I'm just hoping the ball finds Rondale Moore in the end zone, which will also lead me to my tight end pick, which is Zach Ertz. New life in Arizona for this offense, for this player in this offense. I think that they're going to try to, hey, look at my new shiny toy that we have and find him in the end zone. That's all I need for this competition. Look, it's 4 for Billy, 2 for Jacob, and none for me right now. And I'm not okay with that. We need to change it. And this is the time where I am going to turn this franchise around and begin a winning tradition. Billy, final thoughts before we get the heck out of here tonight.
You know what? I don't got a lot. Looking forward to this slate. Maybe not some good games, but hey, good games always, or a lack of good games usually means a surplus of surprises. So all in all, I'm just gonna look forward to a good weekend of football.
Yeah, not a whole lot you can say about that. Look, my final thoughts tend to kind of focus on the same thing. Don't be a human piece of garbage. Be kind to people, right? I don't know what Billy's shuffling around over there for, but look.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm just fucking with you. Look, be kind to one another. Check in on your friends. Check in on your loved ones. Appreciate everything you got. I'm happy. I'm just still fucking happy that we have football going on right now with everything that is still happening out there. Look, next week, Jacob should be back. It should be the 3 amigos. It's been a weird season coming in and out. I do just want to big up everyone downloading and listening across multiple platforms, from YouTube, right at the Full Tilt Dynasty podcast on YouTube and the Dynasty Vipers. Also, shout out to Matt Donnelly, the Dynasty Vipers, to give us a network to put this show on to reach even more people. You guys are our numbers are just going up, and it says something when there's so much content out there in the ether and in the world that has so many numbers and logistics and stuff that makes sense, and you settle in and hang out with us here. So just want a huge shout out, appreciate everyone that tunes in and comments and hangs with us here. It's been fantastic. And of course, as I always say, if you agree with what you heard on the show today, we got to let us know. If you disagree with what you heard on the show today, well, you definitely got to let us know. If you think there's a guest out there that would fit our vibe that you want to see pop on the show, well, you let us know. And guess what? We're going to reach out. We're going to do our best to make sure that they hop on with us. Peace, love, and positivity is something that we want to stress at all times. Remember that clear eyes, full hearts can never lose, and that the best days are spent tilting. Enjoy your football this week. We'll see you on the walkabout. Good night, everybody.